Running through the jungle. I said running through the jungle. We live?
Colin, you still there?
Do. I said running through the jungle. Do. I say rolling through the jungle.
Hello?
Hey, are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, we're live. There we
Alright,
go.
live.
Who was that I was singing?
Credence Clearwater.
Credence Clearwater. Hope we don't get a copyright for my beautiful singing. Hello, folks. Jordan on the road again. John Farina holding the camera in the passenger seat. I am driving a big hunk of steel. What is this? A Dodge Ram?
I think so, yeah.
This was the only car they had. So we're driving a big-ass, gas-guzzling behemoth through the deindustrialized Midwest. We are driving east, back to Michigan, after a 2.5-hour live stream yesterday in Chicago with striking United Auto Workers at the Ford plant in Chicago. So that was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, man, I am no spring chicken anymore. 10 years ago when I started, or 8 years ago when I started doing this, it was tiring, but, you know, I could do it. Now it's like I got to do an hour of stretching. You saw me stretching earlier.
Yeah.
I was just spent after that live stream yesterday. It was so fucking hot. And the sun was right on us. But we do it for you, the people. So we are on day 17 of the United Auto Workers strike. As far as I know, we are the only outlet, corporate or independent, we are certainly independent, that has been on the ground every single day covering this strike. I started out our coverage over 2 weeks ago, and then has been here the whole time. So kudos to him. Colin is making it all work, technically behind the scenes, and he actually did a great kind of promo video for us that we emailed out to Substack viewers earlier today. So it was kind of a promo of United Auto Workers thanking us on the various picket lines that we've covered, because, again, we're really, as humbly as I could say it, the go-to outlet that's been covering this. And, you know, everybody covers it in the first few days because it's new and exciting, but then it kind of trails off. We're trying our best to just stay out here as long as we can. It's very expensive, so greatly appreciate all the donations that have been coming in, super chats, most importantly, the new members who have been signing up. We figure our target every day is trying to shoot for 20 new members. If we could get 20 new paying members every day, we should be able to stay out on the road longer. You know, we've already spent, I don't have it itemized, but well over $7,000 between myself, John, Tina, the flights, the hotels, the rent-a-cars, the food, probably what we're going to get hit with for running over a tire in our previous rent-a-car. So, yeah, it gets expensive. That's part of why people don't do this kind of work. But I think it's super important. And, you know, I truly believe, not in an arrogant way, but I do believe that our continual coverage is spreading news of this strike further to people who probably wouldn't know much about it. And I also think that we are really getting the true stories, the full stories of these workers and the exploitation of these workers out, which is really important. So thank you to everybody watching. Yeah, we just wanted to go live on our way to Michigan. We left Chicago a couple hours ago, and kind of, you know, take chat, comments, questions, talk to the people. So if you got comments, questions, obviously we appreciate super chats. We'll shout you out if we get new members. I cannot look at my phone because I am driving, so John will have to. Colin sent the first email already, so we could give shout outs to new members, super chats, all that. If you have questions about the strike, as far as I know, based on a source that I spoke with this morning, there is no additional movement right now between the UAW and any of the companies. So basically things are where they were on Friday, which is when Shawn Fain announced they would be adding the Ford plant in Chicago to the strike line and the Lansing, the GM plant in Lansing. So now you have 1, 2, 3, then 41. So about 43 plants altogether are on strike, 25,000 workers. And I got to tell you, I mean, I don't know about you, John. I know that the government was about to shut down and everybody, the media only focuses on Trump and, the 2024 stuff.
Yep.
I personally don't know of a more important story going on right now.
I don't either.
For the working class. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on, and in a lot of places, whatever your crisis is the most important story for you. I'm just talking broader lens in terms of the dying, battered working class of this country, whatever's left of it. I think this is the most important story, and that's why we have put all of our time and resources into covering this every day. I wish we had a bigger budget so we could advertise and market and really brag that we've been the only ones out here. But we kind of do this very scrappy and kind of, shoe leather, as they call it, reporting. But to me, what the UAW, what they will be able to accomplish once this strike ends and they get a new contract will have major ripple effects for the rest of the economy. More importantly, other workers in demands they will be able to make. I think it's going to have an effect on other industries trying to unionize once they see the UAW's success. And you will certainly have the corporate elite fighting back to try and stomp whatever new exciting efforts come as a result of this. But anyway, I mean, I covered the John Deere strike a few years ago. That was exciting, but it certainly wasn't as big as this. I covered the Amazon union drive. That was historic and successful. And that was definitely important. But, we're basically, the UAW is kind of the gold standard for unions, even though there's been a lot of corruption. The auto industry affects so many other industries. So, and it's been really, for me, multiple emotions. I mean, on one end, exciting. Obviously, you guys know me. I am most kind of alive and feel my purpose is most, when I'm out there on the ground. I have a 10-month-old and a wonderful wife, so I can't be out there on the ground as much as I used to. But it's been exciting to talk to the workers. It's also been infuriating to talk to the workers. It's also been depressing to talk to the workers. I mean, yesterday we talked to workers who were telling us that a sewer system at the Ford plant in Illinois
Working in high water
broke,
shape. Yeah.
and they were forced to continue working in basically poop water, and they were threatened that if they left, like shit, sewer system water, and they were threatened that if they left, they'd be fired. That's Ford, which calls themselves a family. So it just shows you we basically live in a, economic hellscape. So that's kind of what's going on. But I will stop my montage, and if there's super chats coming in, questions, I will not take off my glasses and beg because I'm driving, but I will verbally beg. Please, if you have not yet signed up as a Status Coup member, do you see anybody else doing what we're doing? I say that humbly but proudly. The local media comes to the picket line approximately for 15, 20 minutes. They talk to one worker, and then they just cut that interview down to 20, 30 seconds on the nightly news, and the anchors then push the propaganda from the companies about, oh, this is hurting the economy. Oh, this is going to hurt the consumer. They're not doing long hour, 2.5 hour live streams. They're not driving. We've been in Ohio. We've been in various picket lines in Michigan. We were just in Chicago. Fuck, we were in Canada. So I don't know. What more can we show you to convince you? 16 cents a day. 16 cents a day equals $5 a month. I know people are struggling. And if you don't have 16 cents a day to give to us, then that's okay. But if you do, and I think a lot of people do, sign up. Because every other outlet that I know of, most other outlets, they're just sitting in a studio bloviating out of their assholes. But what do they know? They're not out here. They're not talking to the workers. That's how I form my opinions. You know, some people say, Jordan, I don't like your political opinions. Well, respectfully, I'm out on the road. I see a lot more than most. So that's where I get my political perspective from. So anyway, do we have super chats, comments, members?
All right, so this is on the donation page. $200 from Joe.
Joe!
Thank you, Joe.
You are no average Joe. Thank you so much, Joe, for that $200. I really, really appreciate it. Super, super generous. Thank you, Joe.
We got $50 from Joy. I'm from Ford, Lima Engine Plant, local 1219. Thank you for your work in exposing the truth. Be safe. Keep up the fantastic work.
Thank you very much. Lima, Ohio. I have been there before. Thank you so much, Joy. I appreciate that.
$10 from Mike. Keep up the good journalism.
Thank you, Mike.
And then we have new members. Catherine, Joe, Dwayne, Jamie. Those are website members. And then YouTube members, we have Kat, Crystal, Tracy, Patricia, Erin, and Amy.
By my count, I just heard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I hear 8 or 9 members?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Holy shit!
10 members.
We're already halfway to the goal, and we haven't even. Well, we are live,
Yeah.
but we just need 10 more members to reach our goal for today. And let me explain it to you, just so you understand why I'm asking. And thank you so much to the people that just signed up. So, on the ground is very expensive. Because we live in this bullshit economy that's just exploitive and oppressive. For example, you know, we always book one way because we don't really know when we're going home. It depends on the story. We generally, the cheapest flight we could get is usually like between $150 to $200. Sometimes it's more. I mean, my flight here I think was $250. Then the rent-a-car. We usually book it for a couple days and then have to continue extending it because we end up staying on the road longer. I mean, when I was here 2 weeks ago, we booked the car for 5 days because, again, we don't really know how the story is going to develop, how long we're going to stay. And then we kept on extending it. Just to extend it for like 2-3 days at a time was costing us $600. So, you know, obviously food between myself and a cameraman, that per day, even if you're, you know, we're not like, I think we've had one like decently nice dinner. Other than that, it's basically been fast food. That will cost you per day, you know, $75 to $100. Coffee, because this is tiring. And then, you know, hotels are a big one because every night, until we get our dream of a Status Coup RV, every night at hotels, that could cost you between $150 to $250, depending on the city. So all of this adds up. And that's why, if you ask me, donations are super, super appreciated. But for like a long-term business strategy, because this is a business, we do need to make money to survive. The long-term business model has always been small dollar subscriptions, because I don't want to ever be reliant on sponsors, which we don't have. I don't want to go dialing for dollars to corporate America. I'll just retire and do something else before I would do that. We don't have any corporate funding. I mean, our funding comes from you. So it's that's why we continually ask. You might not think $5 a month makes a difference, but when you keep stacking it up, and of course we get people that sign up at $10 a month, We also have people that sign up at $20 a month. We've had people sign up at our annual plan. So it all adds up. And essentially, if we could get, 20 new members a day, that definitely keeps us on our target to be able to afford to stay out on the road. And it's not just this. I mean, we cover all sorts of other things, too, if you're new to Status Coup. So, anyway, thank you. Keep signing up. You can sign up to our website at statuscoup.com/join. And as you know, for people that are already members, we do a monthly members call through Zoom. So we'll do that when we get home. So that's a perk of being a member on top of behind-the-scenes content. We've been posting kind of some behind-the-scenes videos just for members. So that's that. What else we got?
Let's see. This one just came in as a super chat. The Smith. Oh, Colin just sent it. Hold on.
I said run through. Smash that like button, too, so we can get this out to more people.
Yeah, do that right now.
If you came to this late, the update is there is no update. From what I'm told, there has been no movement since the Friday announcement of the 2 added plants. Ford CEO came out and did a press conference basically asking for a violin, saying that, their offer is the greatest offer in the history of offers, and what they've already offered the UAW would make UAW workers the wealthiest auto workers on earth. But then you go and talk to UAW workers, particularly the Ford workers that we've talked to, and you realize that not so much. It would not make them the wealthiest auto workers on earth. It would not restore their pensions. And there's, other problems in the offer, including job protections for when they build electric vehicle plants, which Biden and the White House literally handed Ford $9.2 billion alone to build new electric plants with no strings attached. So there was no strings. Hey, we're giving you this nearly $10 billion, but you have to make these union plants. That wasn't a requirement. There was no requirement for wages, nothing. Just, here's the money. And, CNBC will say, well, they'll pay it back. Yeah, go look it up how much these banks paid back from the financial crash. Okay, there you go.
All right, so we have another one from the donation page, $50 from Doug.
Doug!
Thanks for covering the strikes, supporting the workers, and educating the public about labor issues. And treat yourself to a well-deserved drink of your favorite whiskey.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Thank you, Doug.
You see my hat, Doug? Whiskey helps.
Let me tell you, I have really been John's mother on the road. This guy eats like shit. I won't even get into anything else. But, I mean, not that I'm a picture of health, but he's eating fucking chips, and he doesn't have any vegetables. No greens. I got asparagus last night. Did you have any of the asparagus?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I had two.
That's good. That's good.
Trying to live my life on the road.
I will add, just because you guys don't see it, watching these local media reporters, it's like watching the blind leading the blind. So, we were out there in Lansing 2 days ago at the picket line for the General Motors workers, and they call it a gaggle of other reporters that come because Sean Fain was coming. And they're all kind of, some of them it seemed were ticked off because I got an interview with Fain. But you see the questions they ask, and it's just stupidity. It's complete stupidity. It's the same shit over and over and over again, and it's literally just regurgitating the propaganda that the Ford CEO says or the GM CEO says. They have no interest at all to, ask workers, can you tell us your story? Can you tell us that Ford is actually treating you like a family? Can you tell us? Workers told me I've been the only one actually asking them about their injuries, which most have. Right. And you watch these local reporters, whatever. I'm sure they're not. Maybe some of them are kind of like fuck the echo chamber, but they're just stuck in their corporate jobs. But most of them are in their 20s or 30s. They're running around, attached to a cameraman, and they're basically just stenographers for the corporations. It's very, very sad. Devil's advocate, they would say, well, you're just, you know, a UAW spokesperson. You're not a real reporter. And to that, I would say, have I said anything not true?
Right.
You know, I don't hide that I'm for the worker, but is there facts I'm presenting that are not true? I'm basically just allowing the workers to tell their story. If that makes me a spokesperson, then I'm proud to be one. Thank you very much. Smash that like button, share this live stream. Like I said, we're headed back to Michigan. Our schedule's kind of loose. We're going to go check out the Lansing picket line again. If that's popping, we'll go live from there. There's also Marysville, Michigan, which was definitely, when you and Tina were there, it was definitely a popping picket line.
That's a lot of fun.
There's other picket lines around Michigan. You also have Toledo, which is about an hour from Detroit. They're going strong, day 17. And, you know, this is where kind of the pain sets in. It's exciting at the beginning of a strike, but some of these workers have now been on strike for over 2 weeks, and they're only making $500 a week. A lot of them are going to have to pick up, you know, extra jobs on top of being out at the picket line. Then there's, you know, pressure on marriages because, you know, the spouse is the only real breadwinner. It's stressful to strike, you know, although it's exciting and it's solidarity and people have their music. One guy was going around with the solidarity forever. It's definitely stressful on these workers. They're only making $500 a week. They're not getting their full health care from the company. So yeah, I think that's important. An important point.
And a lot of people are bringing their kids out because they want them to see that, you know, and understand what they're fighting for and what they're going through.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of people, a lot of the workers, they bring their kids out, their families, just to understand what.
We're still live?
Yeah, we're still live. Not sure if we cut out. We're good.
I should also say, just the behind the scenes, from my perspective, sometimes you hit it big, and sometimes it's it's pulling teeth. When we started the live stream yesterday, I was like, oh fuck, man, because not a soul wanted to talk.
Yeah.
We go live. And like sometimes I have somebody ready to go, but most of the time I just go live and then just kind of
work it out,
surf around. But like for whatever reason in Chicago yesterday, people didn't want to talk, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to do a lot of improvisation to get to an hour here.
Yeah, I think it was their first day striking, so a lot of them are nervous and unsure about what they should and should not say.
Yeah. And then, luckily, we went across the street to two very boisterous workers, and from there, more people spoke. But it's a lot easier to record interviews, obviously, because you don't have to worry about being live. When you're live, everybody has the attention span of a fucking tortoise. Oh no, tortoise or nobody has an attention span.
Goldfish.
Yeah. If there's not something happening, people will leave within 5 seconds. So, yeah, sometimes at these picket lines, you really have to kind of improvise. But yesterday was really good. I thought the interview at the end, if you guys didn't see the live stream from yesterday, I would definitely check out the interview I did with the gentleman, Bob, who was wearing like a Florida Gators shirt. Yep. He had been at Ford for nearly 30 years. I thought that was really, really good. He was kind of talking about his daughter who was there, who
college.
Yeah, when he started at Ford, she was a baby, and now she's graduating college. And it really just showed you that these aren't just jobs; these are ways of building families and building community. So yeah, that was really cool.
And he also talked about his carpal tunnel and all the injuries. He was injured for a year, and had issues with his hands and his arms.
Yeah, we talked to that. Woman we spoke to yesterday who, I don't know, what was she, 5 foot? She was so short, Felicia, and she's had shoulder surgery and other things. I think I've spoken at this point with over 50 workers, maybe more than that. And I think there's only been a few who has not had an injury, or many of them have had to have surgeries. And many of them, honestly, I mean, Bob said yesterday, like, yeah, when I got home from work, I could not lift my baby. Right. I mean, I'm not an auto worker. I got back problems, and I get a little tight holding my 11-month-old. So imagine being an auto worker and your hands are killing you and your back is killing you, or your knees, and you got, your kids don't care. They don't understand. They want to play. So yeah, these are definitely, it's not just jobs. These are back-breaking, body-breaking jobs. And then you come home and most of these people have kids, even if they have a day or two off. They can't rest. And I think that's something that's really important. I think a big part of the problem is most of these workers are working 6 days a week.
Right. And over 10 hours a day.
And not by choice. A lot of them are, their schedule is 6 days a week. So why can't Ford and these other car companies hire more people, full-time people, so that people can get 2 days off? Right. Of course they can. They don't want to. It's as simple as that. So people are sacrificing not just their time, but their bodies too. Yeah. Which is a problem if you don't have a pension after you retire. Because, I mean, for those of you watching on Social Security, you know how that is. Most of you are, unless you have other means of savings, Social Security in this day and age is not enough to live. So if you don't have a pension and your body is, you have health care needs because you worked for one of these auto companies for 30 years, you're going to need a pension and extra money. So yeah.
That's what Bob was saying, that he's been on 29 years, but he can't retire because he can't afford to live in this economy on whatever they give him on Social Security.
Right. And that's why, to me, it's very, I don't want to say unimportant, but when I cover these things, and then in the broader media and politics, everyone's focused on the presidential election, to me it rings hollow, because I know whether it's Biden or Trump, not much is going to change for the actual worker bees of America. Of course, there are things unrelated to the economy. Trump's talking about, executing enemies and all this crazy shit, and Biden, we don't even know if he's going to make it. But, I mean, whether it's Biden, Trump, this has persisted for 40 years. This battering ram to unions, this battering ram to the working class, and it's been both parties. They both push NAFTA. They both push TPP. Yeah, Democrats verbally are more pro-union, but what does it matter if they're verbally pro-union if they're not doing anything to actually protect workers, to help lift their wages, to help protect their jobs, to help prevent offshoring, to actually penalize these companies if they're exploiting their workers? There's no politicians doing that. So that's why I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying the presidential election is not important. But to me, and why I've been saying for years, and me and Steve Grumbine have talked about this, if you want structural change in this country, it's not coming anytime soon through the two parties or the one party duopoly. It's got to come through unions. It's got to come through organizing. It's got to come through structures outside of electoral politics, because at the moment, we don't really have a lot of leverage in electoral politics. We got a bunch of people who call themselves progressives but won't leverage their power or use their power. And I'm talking about, the squad and those types. So the only leverage the working class has, and it's not much, is unions, the ability to strike. And that is why Republicans and the Koch brothers and ALEC and, all of the special interests, there's been some Democrats too, special interests. That's why their number one target, beginning in the late 70s, 1980s, was just crippling unions, because they knew if they could cripple unions, you cripple the working class, you cripple their power. And that's why if you look at the charts line up. when all the money started flying to the top, the union's percentage in this country started going south. And that's why in France, by the way, when people say, why can't we protest like in France, where if they try to do anything, if they try to lift the retirement age by 2 years, it looks like, you got fucking hundreds of thousands of people out storming the gates because they have strong labor unions, they have strong labor protections, they have health care. So as a citizen, you have more leverage and more security to strike. Here, that's not the case. So, I'm not here to blow kisses to Sean Fain. I don't work for Sean Fain. I'm sure he's not perfect. But from what I've seen so far, I like what he's doing. And I like that he's holding firm. And honestly, forget even the offers that they're getting. Just communicating with the rank and file. Previously, the UAW leadership, when they weren't taking bribes and embezzling money, was doing everything in secret. This guy, he's doing live broadcasts, he's throwing contracts in the garbage, he's showing up to the picket line. He's not calling it his demands, he's calling it the members' demands. And I think that is very, very important. It's similar to Bernie when he said, not me, us, right? I think that's important. I know there's a lot of people that are, a lot of the workers might not be 100% buying in with this strategy. They say we're not actually hurting the companies because most of the plants are still open making money. All the plants should be on strike. Well, just from a common sense perspective, if what they were doing right now wasn't hurting the companies, then the companies wouldn't have improved their offers. Right. Ford, in just 1 week, brought back cost of living, added to their offer the ability to go on strike over plant closures, added to their offer, if they close a plant indefinitely, 2 years of pay and health care. That's big. 2 years. So.
And then Stellantis also budged, right?
Right. Stellantis on Friday budged, bringing back cost of living, among other things. So if the companies weren't feeling any pain, they wouldn't be improving their offers. And at the end of the day, it's just math. Part of the reason they're not going on strike at every single plant at once is they've never gone on strike against all three companies at once. If you literally go on strike all 150,000 at once, the strike fund, I think, is $825 billion. The president of the local union yesterday told me it would last for 11 weeks.
Wow.
So then it's just, the company just waits you out, because strikes are basically who could last longest financially. So for me, it would be much better journalistically to, hey, it's a revolution. They're all fucking on strike. And I could just hop around all day. But I get it that they're trying to be strategic. So, we'll see. I personally think, based on what I've seen, if these companies don't move significantly within the next week, I don't really think it's about how many plants they strike at. I think it's about which plants they strike at.
Right.
And I think if they don't move quickly, specifically Ford, GM seems very stubborn. I think you might see them starting to go on strike at more of the money-making plants. Kentucky, you got the Ford F-150 is manufactured there. If they go on strike at the money makers, that's, you're no longer, using a scalpel, you're using a shotgun. So.
Yeah, because if you shut down a certain factory, that will have a chain effect on the other factories. So, right. They could, use that strategy.
What do we got?
What they're doing.
Any more? Colin might have sent another email too. I said, run through the jungle. What's today? Oh, it's October 1st too. Wow.
Colin, if you have any more emails, send them over. Or if anybody would like to comment in the chat, I'm watching the chat. So if you want to,
if you have questions, comments, concerns, I'm here. Colin just texted us.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
One of the best parts about driving on the road is the Jesus signs. Where's Jesus? Jesus is here.
I like the one I saw the other day. Which one are you going to, heaven or hell?
Oh, right. I said, run through the jungle. I said, run through the jungle.
Any questions, guys? I know Colin's working on the next email, but if you want, comment in chat.
He said he's finishing the last email, so he'll be sending us more. I know there's people in there that have some comments, questions, concerns. And smash the like button, share this live stream. I know we're live during football, so I don't know how many people are watching, but... and I will remind you, as your patriotic duty, please, if you have not yet signed up, sign up. StatusCoup.com/join. All I'm asking for is 16 cents a day. That equals $5 a month. For the higher level, $10 a day is $10 a month is 33 cents a day. I literally just spent $5 for this big tub of coffee?
Yep.
So I would gladly skip a day of coffee for independent media.
Right.
Okay? It's probably better for you anyway. So please, if you can, we're targeting 20 new members a day. I see a lot of outlets. They're constantly emailing. We need 20 people right now to sign up. For what? What are they doing? I'm not saying you have to be out here on the ground to have value. There's a lot of outlets that do great work that are not out here. But there is an added value, in my opinion, to being out there. And I think I'm feeling it. The workers, there's been nowhere I've gone where workers have not approached us excited and thanking us. Not because I'm so great, but because we are their media right now. The local media barely covering it. If they're covering it, it's like I said, they're just slicing down interviews to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
The national media, forget it. I mean, they cover it barely. I mean, this is a historic strike. If I ran it, well, I do run one, but if I ran a big ass news outlet, this would be the number one story.
Right.
Because this is what affects the most people's lives. So the fact that all of them are coming up to us, thanking us, and they value this, it means a lot. And it's because of you that you are allowing us to do this.
And, like you said before, this is not just about the auto workers. This is about the whole working class in general. Everybody's feeling this. All right, I'll read so we have a donation, $5 from Brandon. We have a new member, Mindy.
Thank you, Mindy.
Comments. All right. This is Live the USA. Which plants are on strike now?
Okay, so you got the first three. That was Ford in Toledo that makes the Jeep. You have GM in Wentzville, Missouri. You have, wait a minute. Ford in Wayne, Michigan. They make the Bronco. You got Stellantis in Toledo, Ohio. They make the Jeep. You got GM in Wentzville, Missouri. I'm not sure what they make. So those were the first three. Then you got another 38 parts and distribution plants. I can't name them all, but a lot of them are in Michigan. You got a couple in Ohio, Wisconsin, New York, Colorado, Philadelphia,
Some in
California. So those are spread out. So 3 plus 38, that's 41. And then you have these two plants that just went on strike on Friday. The big Ford plant in Chicago, they make the Ford Explorer. They make the Chevy Dorado? Chevy something. And the police cruiser, which little too many police cruisers, if you ask me, in Chicago. And that one is a big one. That's over 5,000 workers.
Right.
And the GM plant, a GM assembly in Lansing, Michigan. That's where we're headed now. And which ones did they make? It's hard to keep up with each plant.
Yeah.
So overall, you have about 43 plants. Several of them are assembly plants. A lot of them are parts and distributions. and it's 25,000 workers total. 25,000 workers total. You could say, well, Jordan, there's 150,000 workers, so 80% of them are not on strike. Again, 2 weeks, both 2 out of the 3 companies have significantly sweetened their offer, and the UAW has not drained their strike fund. I think, I could be wrong, but I think you will see significant escalation by the UAW in the coming week or so if they don't significantly increase their offer, because if they're not going to increase their offers significantly, then you're just kind of treading water at that point, and you then have to apply additional pressure. Because again, it's not just about the wages, it's about the cost of living, which 2 out of the 3 companies have in their offer reinstated. It's about improving contributions to retirees in healthcare, in retiree pensions. It's about worker protections against plant closures. It's about making sure new electric battery plants that come online are union. It's about making sure they're not going to lay off half the workforce since they're saying, they don't need as many workers at these electric plants. So there's a lot more than just wages. So I don't think the union, honestly, is going to get a 40% wage increase. But I do think it's possible the union gets close to a 30% wage increase plus other things. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, I'll go to the next question. This is from Issa Tribble. You have to love real journalism. Thought this shit died post 2012.
Post 2012, where you been living? It's been dead for longer than that.
We're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back. We've been bringing it back. We've been doing a Status Coup, if you don't know, because a lot of you are new. By the way, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because a lot of people are watching who aren't subscribed. Press that subscribe button. We're almost at 155,000 subscribers. We have gained almost 5,000 subscribers on YouTube in the last month, largely from this coverage. We're also, Colin just told me before we went live, we're over 1 million views for the month. I think that's the most we've ever had. So slowly but surely, we are getting out there. For a long time, YouTube has hit us. Let's say that. We've been buried. But we're getting out there. 1 million views for the month, 5,000 new subscribers, a lot of new paid members. This is how we grow. And also, we need to grow so we can, it can't just be me. I mean, I got a young child. I'm on 2 back surgeries, trying to avoid a third. I'd like to hire, new reporters, new camera, video journalists, because John can't be on the road indefinitely. So this is bigger. We need more hands on deck. But to do that, we want to pay people, a decent wage. So that's your revenue is not just your money, and your membership is not just going to this trip. It's going to the whole shebang, because there will be other strikes, and there will be other movements, and there will be other protests. And, we try to cover as much as we can. But at the end of the day, I can't print money out of my asshole like the federal government. I wish I could. So we rely on you, the people. But thank you so much, because it is really sad. I mean, actual living, breathing journalism doesn't really exist in this country. Most of the time when we go to these places, it's pretty much just us. I've always said, I said this to Jank when I worked at TYT back in the day, sky's the limit. We have no competition. Sadly, he fucked that up. And we don't really have any competition. There's very few stories that when I go, there's like a long line of other journalists there staying there. Right. So yeah.
Okay. All right, this is from Dave Burt. Thank you to Status Coup for this coverage.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. I think Colin sent another email too.
Okay. D. Da Vinci, you guys not coming back to Chicago Ford?
No, we were driving to Michigan.
Yeah, we're headed to Michigan.
But, who knows? If we get a shit ton of more members, maybe we could zigzag back.
Yeah.
So, We decided to go back to Michigan because I can't really get into it, but I got some other reporting to do in Michigan. So I had to, it would be better to be centrally located in Michigan. But hey, we're trying to stay on the road.
Yep.
Chicago to Michigan is about 3 to 4 hours, so we could, we might come back to Chicago as well.
All right, this is from Beeble. My sister's in France was on sick leave because of bed rest requirement during her pregnancy. 80% of her salary for duration.
Why the fuck do we live in this fucking cesspool of America?
Why?
My wife has
Dream.
been really on me to get Canadian citizenship because my grandpa was born there.
Okay.
And I keep telling her I don't think my grandpa being born in Canada is going to get me Canadian citizenship. And she's like, "Well,
You got roots.
my dad could get it because his dad was lit." And I'm like, "So what do you want to do? You want to go live and make maple syrup? What do you want to do?"
Yeah, why
no
not?
offense, can't compete with Tesla and Elon Musk. They're the gold standard in electric. Yeah, well, Elon Musk is a union-busting asshole, in addition to his stupidity on X or whatever it is. Tesla workers, as far as I know, are not making bank, and he treats his workers horribly. That's why Tesla, in terms of electric, is doing better than these companies because they're paying less and they are not union. Same thing with a lot of these auto companies in the South. But I think the way to, I don't know if you're ever going to eliminate completely the non-union shops, but bottom line, a worker or anybody wants the job with the best pay and benefits. So if UAW gets a great contract, it's going to be more attractive to workers to try and apply for UAW and union. And a general strike, but that's, a different discussion.
All right, this is from Dayman Fighter of the Nightman. Corporations have divided us too. Anytime I mention unions at my job, my coworkers mock me and call union workers lazy.
Oh, God, I would I'd hate to work where you're working. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, there's a lot of stereotypes. That's probably a more conservative area you're talking about. But, I mean, all you have to do is listen to or watch the interviews I've been doing. These are the least lazy workers in existence. So I would very, very much, and they told us, some of the workers we spoke with said they've brought friends and family to the factory floor, and those people literally could not do what they did.
Right.
Could not handle the job.
Dude, didn't Bob say they were putting out 71 cars a minute or something like that?
Yep.
That's insane.
So.
Right, we got a super chat. Danny Wyndham, $10.
Thank you, Danny. I think Colin sent another email too.
Okay, I'll check. All right, these are general comments. Tommy Z-Cat, how close is book drop?
How close is the book drop?
Book drop, yeah.
So, Tommy, about that.
Oh, your book, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's very difficult. I will say, it is very difficult when you are kind of, how do I say it? I don't think I'm talking out of turn. It's kind of difficult when you're like the face of a news outlet to also at the same time be writing a book. I'm trying my best, also with an 11-month-old. I am right now on chapter 17. At the moment, I think there's going to be about 21, 22 chapters, so whatever percentage of that is, I think that's 60 to 70% of the book is done. I did have a conversation with a publisher a week ago, and it went well. They actually asked me to send them kind of a media plan in terms of which outlets I thought I could get on once the book is published. So I sent them a long list, mostly independent, YouTube shows, podcasts, etc. So I don't want to jinx it, but I think they're going to make me an offer based on the conversation I had with this publisher. They were very into it. They liked my writing. They thought that there was, not enough out there about what really happened in Flint. So if I get an offer from them, I probably would not be on camera for a bit because I would have a very sharp deadline to finish the book. But if I get an offer from them, I think, and I go with them, I think the book would be out next fall. So a lot of things could change. This is the only publisher I've been approached by yet. But if I go with them, the book would be out by next fall. But I am writing it. And John, tell them you read chapter 1.
I read chapter 1.
You don't have to blow smoke out of my ass. What'd you think?
I thought it was great. I mean, very sad. Like, the first chapter was just like heartbreaking to know about, you know, I don't know if I get details.
And quite corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah, very sad what happened to his family. You'll get to read it, but I mean, I was hoping to read the next chapter after that.
Yeah. So that's the details on the book. But bottom line, I mean, if you've ever written a book or been lucky enough to get a deal, if I get an offer, they're going to be like, you know, my goal, I wanted to get it out by April because that's the 10-year anniversary. But from what I'm told, that's too quick a turnaround in publishing. Most publishers can't get a book out that quickly. So yeah, that's where it's at. But I'm very optimistic. I have an agent now who's shopping it around. The agent is actually from Flint, which helps because he's super passionate about it. So that's where we're at with that.
Yeah, and they still don't have clean water.
There's also something going on in New Orleans with problems with their water right now that I have to look into more. So.
Okay, we got Silence is Violence. Sing some Third Eye Blind, Jordan. You know you're a huge fan.
I will sing Third Eye Blind if we get 5 new members in the next...
Let's do it.
What time is it?
Come on, guys.
I'll sing Third Eye Blind if we get 5 new members. And you know my Third Eye Blind is on point. But we need more members.
If we get 5 new members by the end of this live stream, we'll do a little car karaoke.
That's right. So we need more members for that. But I've been to 20 Third Eye Blind concerts. I am proud to say. Semi-charmed kind of life.
All right, this is from Arlene. I would love to see Status Coup host a debate between Marianne Williamson, Cornel West, and Robert Kennedy Jr.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that'd be
RFK apparently is running as an independent now, so there goes the Kennedy dynasty in the Democratic Party. And ironically, I think RFK might pull votes away from Trump. I really do, because, I mean, in terms of RFK's popularity, it's mostly Republicans and independents. He's not doing so hot among Democrats, so... but I'm not a fan of RFK, but I can't really blame him for running independent. I mean, this is what the Democratic Party gets for rigging their primaries, for refusing to hold real primaries, for pushing a dead political carcass forward to run Biden. Why would people run in the Democratic primary if you're not going to give them a fair shot? What is that? I think he's going to announce soon that he's running independent. Cornel West, Tina interviewed last week at the Fort Wayne location. So he was out. And there's definitely a difference between Cornel West on the picket line and Biden. You know, Biden kind of did it for the photo op and said a few words. Cornel West is there standing with the workers. It's very, very different and very, very obvious that Cornel West is not doing it to check a box. He's not doing it for the election. He's doing it because he wants to do it. And that's a big difference. I should say Marianne Williamson was there too. I didn't know she was going to be there that day. If I did, I would have tried to arrange it where Tina could stay there. But yeah, Marianne Williamson was on the picket line too.
You saw photos or video from?
I just heard a bunch of people after said, "Oh, she's there too." So, yeah.
All right, Colin. Any more?
And tell Colin to let us know if there's.
Oh, we got another one.
If we got, I want to give a count of how many members we've gotten today too.
Right. All right. Here's another super chat. Dave Burt, tip $2. Jordan, a couple of things to remember on the strike. 2 people here, I guess, addressing the people and the viewers, car production money in government spaces, the large subsidy support, that money is whirling around all over, in a sense, even though straight appropriated in Congress.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, general comments. Babel, how come no coverage of BC/BS strike? What is that?
The Blue Cross Blue Shield strike.
Right.
I would love to be an octopus and stretch out my 8 legs. They have 8 legs, right? Octopus.
I think so.
And cover as much as I can. But you know, we've been trying to focus on UAW. But you know what? Since you brought it up, we'll try to hit the Blue Cross Blue Shield line, because that's even worse. You know, it takes 22 years of working there. 22 years to get full pay.
Wow.
I mean,
Jeez. What's the point?
it's ridiculous. And do you know who's is Mrs. Blue Cross Blue Shield?
No.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh, I think
Her
I
daddy
heard
was,
yeah.
I think, the CEO at one
Wow.
point. So she gets a ton of money from Blue Cross Blue Shield, while she's not screwing Flint, Kalamazoo, and the rest of the poisoned Michigan. You know, Michigan, when you drive back from Canada into Detroit, you see a sign, "Welcome to pure Michigan." I wanted to get out of the car and slash it and say "poisoned Michigan," but I didn't want to get arrested. So, but yes, Blue Cross Blue Shield is going on, and we'll try to hit that if we can.
And also the casinos in Detroit are going on strike. They just voted 99% voted yes to go on strike. So we're not sure when that's starting, but
Let me tell you a little story about the casinos.
yeah.
When I was in St. Louis a few years ago, before I got arrested, I was in St. Louis covering the Black Lives Matter protests. And I don't know why, we didn't plan it, but the hotel we were staying at was right next to a casino. I'm not really a gambler, but I was with Ty. You know Ty, our original cameraman, and Ty likes a good time. So we went into the casino, not with company money, you know, our own money. And I just played roulette because it seemed like the easiest thing to play. And I just put down on number 1, and I won $600. And I walked out. I was like, it could only go down from here. So Ty was pissed because he wanted to stay. And I was like, you can stay. I'm leaving. I won $600. So anyway, that's my casino story. And then I got arrested the next day covering a Black Lives Matter protest. But I digress.
Was the 600 your bail money?
No.
Let's see what else we got here. Carl's 4948 wants to know, where are they heading?
We are headed to the GM picket line in Lansing, Michigan. On Friday, it was in front of Tony M's restaurant. I don't know why, but they weren't doing it in front of the actual plant. Maybe because GM, that big parking lot technically is private property. So I guess GM would have called the cops or something. I don't really know. So we're going to the picket line if you're in Lansing, it's in front of the restaurant, Tony M's.
Hey guys, if you haven't done so already, please smash the like button. Also, subscribe, become a member, StatusCoup.com/join. If we get 5 more members today, right? We'll do a karaoke.
I wish you would step out from that ledge, my friend. That's a preview. That's a Third Eye karaoke preview. I might even do some Michael Jackson. I'm not okay with what he did, but I am okay with the music. I should say that.
Jordan will sing and I'll play the harmonica.
There you go. There you go. And by the way, can I just say, he didn't put me up to this, but John is an eligible bachelor. John is an eligible bachelor. So if you live in the New York area, New Jersey area, the tri-state area, you know, he's got a lot to offer.
I'm here.
A lot to offer. Great video journalist, great photographer, plays the harmonica, good father, does snore a little bit, but it's okay. So do I. So if you're looking for a new connection, he's available. Anyway.
Silence isn't violence said, I'm in Michigan, John.
As it run through the jungle.
Do you think Bernie pushed Biden to join the UAW, or did he do so by himself?
Actually, I think Sean Fain pushed Biden. And that's another thing I like about Sean Fain. I think Biden he's old, but he's not an idiot. He needs auto workers to vote for him, particularly in Michigan. Trump has done better than Biden and Hillary among particularly white males, which obviously dominate the auto industry. So the fact that Sean Fain would not just give away the United Auto... I'm not saying like the United Auto Workers endorsement is the holy grail and that would elect Biden or re-elect Biden, but it is important, to get union support. And Fain is pretty popular, so if Fain... obviously, I think it would be a Democratic vote. I think Fain would actually want members' buy-in. But I think the fact that Sean Fain wouldn't give the UAW endorsement to Biden, which public in his disdain for Trump, but the fact that he's not just giving Biden the UAW endorsement even after Biden visited.
He's got to earn it.
Right. I wish our politicians could take some fucking lessons from Sean Fain on how to use some power.
Yeah.
And Colin, if you text us or whatever, just tell us how many members we have so far today. That would be good. I said run through the jungle.
All right, so I think I see that we have about 250 people watching, only 40 likes.
That's
so
disgusting.
Let's get a little more.
That's criminal. We need 200 more people to press that like button.
Right.
We are probably going to be live a little bit later from the picket line too. So we'll hopefully get those numbers up. It's Sunday afternoon, football's on, so I don't expect a huge audience, but we want to continue, going live from picket lines and telling the stories of the workers, etc. So definitely smash the like button, share this live stream, yada, yada, yada.
I'm not sure if the service cut out.
Wonderful.
Okay, we're good.
Wonderful. So we're about a little over an hour away from our destination, so we'll go for a little bit longer. These live streams are some of my favorites. I like just kind of on the road live. I would literally do karaoke with the viewers and just blast the music that I like, but we'd get copyrighted into bankruptcy by YouTube.
Right. So Colin said 13 new members today. So
13 new members. I think we can get another 7. I think we can get another 7 to hit that 20. We need to hit 20. And by the way, I should say, I am looking, this is kind of a casting call. I am looking for a reporter to replace me in a few days, because I do have to go home to my 11-month-old daughter and wife. So I do need a replacement. Tina can't come again. Lewis has some other obligations. God bless John, but he can't do camera and be on camera. So I am looking for another reporter. There's not a long line, honestly, of independent reporters that are good and could be good on camera and could handle a live stream for a couple hours. So yeah, if you happen to be watching and are a journalist and want a shot, this might be your shot. If the UAW decides to expand the strike. So if you are a journalist or I'm not looking, no offense, I'm not looking for shock jocks. I'm not looking for, activists. I want somebody who does reporting, or even if you're, preferably if you've been on camera before. So definitely, if you're interested or you know somebody, email us at info@statuscoup.com. Depending on where you are, we would fly you in. And yeah, you'd be going live talking to workers on Status Coup.
You get to hang out with me.
That's right. I said run through the jungle. 13 new members today. I think we got 16 or 17 yesterday. So this is the type of the numbers we need to sustain this reporting, which is very, very expensive. Very, very expensive.
Yes, people, I am still the cameraman. Kind of multitasking right now.
Yes. And also should say, I think the excitement at these picket lines, a lot of workers I'm talking to, of course they wanted to go on strike, but a lot of them are just happy for a day off. I mean, not that they're like, laying in the Bahamas drinking a margarita. They're still out holding a picket sign. But a lot of them are just kind of happy to get some time off, to rest their bodies from the grind. Even though they're out there holding the picket sign, it's a grind. And a lot of them were just relieved to get a couple days off, a week, however long the strike lasts. So yeah. What's going on in the chat? I said run through the jungle.
People said, next interview, please get details from strikers about the violence on the line.
Yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, you had the hit and run situation in Schwartz Creek, Michigan. There honestly could be close calls. There's honestly close calls. I mean, just yesterday, one of the strikers who may or may not have had a beverage or two was kind of standing in the street with his sign. So in that case, it might not even be intentional. You could have an accident. And there's a lot of, for the most part, what I've seen is support from cars passing by. But you do from time to time have assholes that drive by and shout nasty things at the workers. And you also have some people who are beyond jerks and just kind of crazy that want to come and fuck with the workers, fuck with the strikers, or threaten the strikers. But that's a good point. I'll definitely ask. I saw how that worked out for John Deere back in 2021. I mean, they brought in some of their salaried employees that have zero experience, and there was accidents, scabs driving forklifts into the wall, injuries, and now these car companies think that they could just bring in anybody. I think, was it Ford or one of them are paying them $14 an hour? People without much experience making cars, handling this equipment. So good luck with the quality of these vehicles, as well as productivity in terms of cranking out cars. And you might have injuries because you have a bunch of people with
no training or very little training.
Right. So.
Yeah, so I think the service keeps getting cut out sometimes.
All right, cool. So once we're back, we'll wind down. Let me know when we're back.
No, we're back, but I just noticed that.
Okay. So yeah, we'll wind down because we want to get a little space between the next live stream. Let me know before we end if Colin sent anything else. But like I said, we're going to the GM in Lansing picket lines, so we'll be there in an hour or so. I'll probably go live again 2 hours, I would say. Tomorrow, who knows? Maybe another place in Michigan. Maybe we'll go back to Toledo. And yeah, we're just going to try. It's hard to kind of keep this fresh because at the end of the day, it's very similar stories you're hearing and very similar questions. But I think in most cases, repetition is not good. But in this case, I think it's good to hear from as many people as possible, even if it is similar stories. I think it's important to give these people a microphone. And each person, because of the way they're striking, new people are getting their opportunity to get their stories out because new people are going on strike, at different times. And even if the stories are similar, they're all heartbreaking, and I think they're all very illuminating to hear. It's not easy to fund a couple days on the road, much less today is day 17. So it's thanks to you, the viewers. We appreciate it. The donations, the memberships are super, super important. I sound like a broken record, but what do they say? Every time something happens, an angel gets its wings. Every time we get a membership, I get excited because the more members we get, the more sustainable we are. The longer we can stay out here, and the more stories we could cover, across the country. So that's why it's so important. If you have the means, for those that don't, I get it. But if you do have $5 a month, which again is 16 cents a day, I don't know of many other better things to spend it on than actual living, breathing, independent journalism. So, anything else?
I don't see anything.
Alrighty. We'll wind down now, and we'll probably be back live again in 2 hours. Peace.
All right.